Então, pessoal, estamos aqui com a Hong, que é presidente global do OKX. A entrevista vai ser em inglês e aí depois a gente vai ter aqui os closed captions para vocês, beleza? Hong, thank you so much for having us. It's our second time in Singapore and it's awesome to be here. I think just as a starter, if you could introduce yourself to the audience. I know that you come from a TradFi background and you've been in crypto for a long time now.
Yeah.
So how was all these years from coming from, you were from Goldman Sachs, right?
Yeah.
And then coming to OKX. Ó, e se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, não esquece de se inscrever aqui no canal, dar o seu like no vídeo, porque isso é super importante perceber que tá no caminho certo e trazer mais desses pra você. Inclusive, eu peguei um avião, dois na verdade, vim pra Singapura, do outro lado do mundo, só pra gravar essa entrevista. Então, dê o seu joinha aqui no vídeo pra eu saber que ele tá sendo útil e vamos pro resto da entrevista aqui.
Yeah. First of all, welcome again, Bazan.
Thank you.
It's great to have you and your team in Singapore in our office. It's always good to have friends like yourself to come here and actually visit us in person, part of our team in person at least. We also have a Brazil team locally, obviously, as you know.
Yeah.
For myself, I have been at OKX for 6 years now, counting. And previously, I spent about 10 years on Wall Street, 8 years at Goldman doing investment banking for financial institutions. And later I did some growth investment as well, growth equity investment.
Cool.
So it's been a fun ride. I feel like at different stage, I learned different things. Learned a lot from Goldman. From my Goldman years, I learned a lot when doing investment. But my experience at OKX has been most rewarding. I think I'm very lucky to be able to work with a lot of people who have the same passion for the industry, who has the same level of resilience and also focus on practical progress, pragmatic progress, and the passion to actually work and find the right path forward and build the right product for the team, for their customers. So it's been a fun ride, yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
I'm curious to know what made you switch from traditional finance to crypto?
I think it's the right timing, it's the right industry, and it's the right team. Because I was at Goldman. I joined Goldman in 2008, actually, during financial crisis.
Wow.
And it was kind of scary moments. But luckily I was in financial institutions, so we actually ended up working on a lot of financing deals for banks to basically save them from falling apart. And then after that, I was able to work on different types of financial institutions as my clients, fintech companies, payment companies, insurance companies, asset management companies. But there's always something wrong that I feel. And throughout cycles, you see that, there are things, the deja vu again and again.
Yeah.
There are always financial crises that came around as part of the cycle. And then you see, generally the mass got hurt the most, and they're always too big to fail type of situation, right? And there's those moral debate. And then later, when I did investment, growth equity investment, I came across OKCoin, which was back then a platform for people to buy Bitcoin and Litecoin in China. So it's the biggest platform. That was actually the first time when I started to look seriously at Bitcoin. And study what it is. And that was when I thought that, this is something that's very new. It's designed with a very different mindset. It actually removes intermediary. It basically not only challenges how financial institutions should be built, but actually also how you should think about value, how you should think about money, how you should think about all the fundamental foundation for everything that we know. And it's it's hard. It was a hard process for me to actually warm up to it. But then ultimately realize that this is something that's very new and can actually help address some of the issues.
And you mentioned that you joined Goldman in 2008. Was around the crisis, was around the creation of Bitcoin as well.
Yeah.
And we learned from the crisis that we have to be in control of our money. And one of the things that I like the most about OKX, and I wanted to ask you, is that if I compare to other exchanges, I would say that OKX is the exchange in the world that most incentivizes the user to get the money off the exchange.
Absolutely.
To decentralize space, to decentralize space.
Yeah.
So I know that from for some people that might be watching, this may sound a bit contradictory because from a centralized exchange perspective, you may want all the funds to be there, but you have lots of products and very good products to incentivize people to go to Web3.
Yeah.
And I recall an interview that you gave to CoinDesk, I guess in the beginning of this year, where you mentioned that you had more assets on the centralized exchange compared to the centralized one.
Yes.
So how do you view this from the OKX perspective in terms of incentivizing the user to go to OKX wallet or OKX Pay and all the other environment that you provide?
I think that's the direction, and that's the right side of the history that we need to be on. We do have a centralized platform. That's our core traditional business and product. And we do custody for our customers, for those who come to our centralized platform to trade and to stake and whatnot. But that's not because we want to custody for people, right? That's because as part of the services people look for, part of the ancillary service is to custody for convenience. However, we believe that gist of crypto is to have the ability to custody for yourself, have the ability to control your own assets so that your ability to use your assets, to move your assets around, to get more value out of your assets is totally in your hands. It's not subject to any third-party intermediary. So we do believe that that's an important part, actually a critical part of what crypto is. And as a result of that, from our product and development perspective, we've always spend a lot of emphasis and resources in developing our self-custody wallet, in making that wallet increase in the interruptibility of that wallet, increase the security of the wallet, and then also put that wallet in the same app with the CeFi so that it's easy for the customers to actually move money out of it. And we want our customers actually to move money from CeFi into the self-custody wallet so that they can actually learn how to take care of their own assets. And also on the other side of it, we also realize that there are always a part of convenience that people look for, particularly if you look for wider adoption, a larger portion of the population would want convenience and may even want to, take convenience over self-autonomy, if you will, if there is a trade-off. And we hope that we can offer products that does not put people into that spot of having to choose between convenience and autonomy. So we do have a product that we push out to be able to give people that ability to have still the convenience of a Web2 experience, but at the same time retain their autonomy and control of the asset. So that's a big part of our product pipeline. How to offer the Web3 product, that self-custody, the ability to actually control your own money, your own future, but at the same time still have some sort of convenience. So that's the direction that we continue to invest in.
And you mentioned convenience, and I think one of the biggest challenges, at least what I see in Brazil, because people are very new to the investment in crypto, it's very easy to use the CeFi side,
Absolutely.
But when you go to DeFi, you have to remember all the seed phrase and deal with addresses and so. So I believe that to a certain level, this kind of abstraction that you have to put into this product is very important. So how do OKX approaches this roadmap of developing a Web3 environment, but that like the average guy in the daily basis can use it with no friction?
We do have that product infrastructure in place now. I think that our customers in Brazil will also see more of that coming, hopefully for the later half of the year. We actually have the ability to develop a so-called smart wallet, so that our customers can still control their own key. Any platform like ourselves would not be able to move assets out of your wallet or your account without you signing off on that transaction. But at the same time, it will be an experience that is almost like a CeFi experience. So, we have that capability and we will be able to hopefully push harder on that product later this year or early next year.
Awesome. And then when we go back to the CeFi side, we know that since FTX, all the proof of reserves theme is very important.
Yeah.
But I think maybe people don't know that OKX has been publishing the proof of reserves from before the fallout of FTX.